Welcome to my channel, Crafting with me, Deannie Jones, and welcome to the IOD Spring 2025 collaboration. These lovely ladies asked me to join them to create some wonderful spring ideas for IOD products. And this is CJ DIY, the Chic Show DIY, Happiness Created, Jackie Burns Creations, and Buffy Designs. All the products you see here can be purchased at L&J Goods. More information about all of these lovely ladies and the L&J Goods online store is in my description down below. Now, let's spring into action. For this project, I'm going to use my favorite IOD transfer set because I love saying the word. And yes, you got it. It's Wildblumen. I love Wildblumen. I am in love with not only the designs but the word Wildblumen, so that's why I love to use it. Anyway, I saw this at the dollar store a while back and I decided, oh, I should have this in my stash. So shopping in my stash, I decided to use this as a little frame around some Wildblumen designs. What I love about this collection is it has flowers and butterflies and birds and wildflowers specifically, not, very fancy flowers or anything, just wildflowers that you would see out in a beautiful field in spring. And why? Because they Wildblumen means wildflowers or wild blooms. So that is why I love this so much. Once I painted the frame, I just got a piece of cardstock that I had and I decided to just zhuzh it up a little bit. Zhuzhing it up, and then I'm using a wet wipe to, rub it down. What I'm trying to make it look like, almost like an antique canvas, if you know what I mean, because that's a perfect backdrop for these beautiful wildflowers. If you just put it plain, it kind of looks like you're just sticking it on paper, but if you give your paper a little bit of dimension, it creates something that looks very authentic. So look at these beautiful birds that I found, and these are the ones that I'm going to include in this little frame. Now, if you've never used IOD transfers, they are the easiest product, I think, of all their products. And once you start, you will not be able to stop yourself from using them in every project that you have. Forgive me, my desk was shaking along with me while I was just using this transfer. And as you can see, it's very simple. It's like a sticker. You put it on and then you use the stick to transfer it on. You can use a stick that comes with your transfer, or you can use a credit card, anything you like. Again, it's so simple to use, and look at the results. It really looks like an antique painting, especially with that backdrop that I created with my paints. Now, I thought it was a little plain, so of course you can layer your transfers. If you didn't know that, yes, you can layer your transfers, and that's what I'm doing now, just adding some more wildflowers while the birds are just, I guess they're just hanging out on these beautiful Wildblumens. Now, I glued that cardstock to the frame very simply, and then I had this little sign. I bought a bunch of these signs after Christmas. They came out to like 19 cents. They were $1.99, so they were 19 cents, and it's perfect to hang this wonderful design that I created here. What do you think? I love these little birds. For my next project, I'm actually using one of these embroidery hoops. No, I'm not going to use it to embroider. It was, again, in my mother's stash, and I had this canvas in my stash as well. I don't know if it's canvas or muslin, whatever you want to call it. It's just plain material. And I decided I would use this, I forgot the name of the stamp. I'm so sorry. I'll look it up and put it in. But this stamp is so beautiful. It has a teacup. It has this lovely vintage looking woman. It has a bird. It has spoons. It even has a little bit of steampunk in there, a little bit of everything that I like. And I said, instead of taking this apart, I am going to stamp this just as it is on that material, and that is going to be the backdrop of my work today. Again, I'm just using a black stamp. I don't think it's IOD, but it doesn't matter. You can use any stamp you like, and I'm just making sure that everything that I have will fit. Now, because I'm stamping on fabric, I wanted to make sure I used this, oh, I forgot this roller thing. This roller, I'm just using this little roller that I had from Plaid to make sure that the design comes through. And it came out pretty good. And I'm not too worried that it's not perfect, but what I am going to do is I'm going to heat set it. So using a little bit of parchment paper and my little iron, I'm just going to make sure that the ink is set so that I can work with it, because now I'm going to add some transfers. That's right, you can add transfers to fabric as well, and I thought this would just bring so much more color and life to this stamp. I didn't want it just plain. Again, I apologize for the shakiness. I didn't realize that it was so apparent while I was working on my desk. I absolutely love how beautiful this rose, and I believe this was another collection. That rose was from another collection, and this is from Wild Bloomin'. Again, everything I have here with IOD you can get with Ellen J Goods. Lynn and Megan are the sweetest, so please check out their links below. Now I'm continuing to use all my transfers, and then I got really creative because I thought, you know what, it's springtime, it needs an extra punch of color. So I am using, now these are watercolor pencils. However, because initially I thought, oh, I'll just use watercolor pencils and then I'll use water, but I was afraid that I would mess up the stamp. And once I have those beautiful transfers on there, I really didn't want to take any chances. So I'm just adding a little bit of color to a hair, to some of the butterflies and the birds. And it just adds a beautiful touch, especially for spring, because I love to see a lot of color when it comes to spring. Now I'm going to use the gold Decor transfer to make it look like a ribbon around her neck. It could be a jewel, what have you, and I thought it was just so perfect. So I'm adding a few little gold touches here and there with this gold transfer from IOD. These gold transfers are the IOD Gilded Petites Ornaments transfers, and there's 8 by 12 sheets in that collection. I actually prefer the smaller sheet collection simply because I don't do a lot of big projects. I don't do furniture or anything like that. So these fit my room, the space in my room, and my projects perfectly. Now, to transfer that canvas to the embroidery hoop, all I'm going to do is place the canvas over the inner embroidery hoop and align the embroidery hoop over a hoot. Yeah, quite a hoot. I'm such a hoot. So once I get the embroidery hoops clasping the canvas, then I'm going to cut and making sure that I tighten the knob at the very top, the screw at the very top, to make sure that it's not going to fall out. Now I can cut away the excess fabric. And there you have it. Now I can add a bow or a flower or anything I like and hang this up on my wall. I was so excited when I received my IOD products for the spring 2025 collection that the same night I believe that I received the products, I decided to go live. So this, even though it was live, I don't believe a lot of people saw it, because sometimes our live productions don't have as many views, so it's a repeat. But again, because I used all my IOD products, I thought this was great. There again, Wild Bloomin', and I'm using also the IOD molds that were the Cameo molds, and I'm also going to use once again the gilded transfers. So there it is. First, I'm going to use these beautiful Cameo molds or medallion molds. I don't know what it's called, but they are beautiful. And I'm using my amazing casting resin. This is a 1-to-1 ratio product. You put them together and within a few moments, it's ready. You mix it. Don't create a lot of bubbles, but mix it until it's clear. Then you can pop it into your molds. And this will set within 10 minutes. Now there was a little extra, and that's why you see there's that one frame that has just a little bit. Now I also received these frames, or I bought these frames on clearance after Christmas, and they came out to like 75 cents or 79 cents, and I could only find 2. If not, I would have bought many more. And I decided to whitewash one of them. They came in black, so I whitewashed one of them because I wanted it to be very springy. And again, I'm just creating some texture and background for that Cameo, so it's not that stark white. And then I'm going to use the Wildblumen transfers. Oh, before that, of course, I'm going to make a gilded frame around that. I guess I can't remember if it's called cameos or ornaments, what it's called, but it's just beautiful. Now, using some smaller prints from Wildblumen, I am going to create a beautiful, just a beautiful antique looking brooch. Now, of course, I'm going to transfer it the same way I have before, but afterwards I will seal this with a very high gloss decoupage, or there's a bunch of different glosses that you can use, and that makes such a difference in the end because it really does look like a very high-end brooch. That's what it's named, brooches. That's the mold. Ugh, I'm so silly. Once again, I'm using these beautiful transfers, and they fit so perfectly into that brooch. I mean, it's so lovely. And I love the fact that these brooches, especially when you make them with the amazing casting resin or resin products, I love all the fine details. I know you can get that as well with clay, but sometimes the clay cracks and you don't see the beautiful details. Now here I'm using antique wax once again, and I really love just the effect of the antique wax on that frame. And now all I'm doing is adding that beautiful brooch inside. Now I created two different versions. So for this one, I love the black background on the cover of the IOD transfers. And there I am adding the gloss. It's just so, look at the difference. It looks so beautiful once you add the gloss. And I really love that stark contrast of the black with the gold and the gloss and the beautiful colorful flowers and butterflies. So for this one, I thought it reminded me very much of a Mackenzie Childs decor item. So here, once again, I'm using those very inexpensive frames, and I'm adding the brooch inside of that frame. And this could be on your desk, it could be in a tiered tray. Everywhere it goes just perfectly and looks so lovely and elegant and perfect for spring. And the two of them together are perfect also for a gallery wall if you happen to have one. This is the fastest, easiest project ever. Now, I'm sure you recognize this little plastic frame from the Dollar Tree. And as you can see, I've used a lot of the Wildblumen, and I love that bouquet. But then I realized it's the same bouquet on the front cover, which I love so much. So I decided, well, you know what? Let me save a transfer and use a cover. I use a lot of my IOD covers. If you haven't seen that, I'm sure you'll catch on now and then. I use every part of the IOD catalog that they send me, and with good reason. There's no reason why we couldn't, especially since I'm going to use this as a piece of art that's going to be inside of a frame. It only makes sense to use the beautiful print that they include as part of the IOD packaging. As you can see, Luna joined me there, and her little ears can show you that she's watching over me, and she was very good at watching everything I did. Once I glued on that IOD cover to the back of this little frame, all I'm doing is cutting it out with this razor, and it is going to fit perfectly into that frame. Now, I did take the time to add some antique wax to the frame as well, so it wouldn't be so golden and it wouldn't look so plasticky, and I think it makes a big difference. I also used the wax, the antique wax, on the cover itself, simply because it also helped to add a little bit of age and those brush strokes that make it look like it was hand painted. Now I just put the backing back into the frame, and again it fit perfectly because I was able to cut it out with my handy dandy little razor that goes around circles and stuff, and I think it just looks so nice and so elegant, and it's perfect for spring and perfect to showcase the beautiful IOD Wildblumen collection from this past spring. I hope you enjoyed all of these projects and that you're inspired to create your own. Remember, all these products can be found at L&J Goods. Information down below. thanks again to these wonderfully talented and creative ladies that invited me to this IOD collaboration. CJ DIY, The Craft Show DIY, Happiness Created, Jackie Burns Creations, and Buffy Designs. Please check out the full playlist as well as all of their channels. You will be happily surprised and inspired. And thanks to all of you for stopping by. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay safe, be kind. God bless each and every one of you. And remember to live the adventure. And I'll be seeing you again very, very soon.